So we're going to start this practice just feeling our hips. So maybe have your toes facing upwards and sway your hips side to side. And make a circle. Have your hands on the sides of the hips so that you can feel how your muscles move. So your stabilizers muscles are all around the hip there. Change direction. And if you get any clicking and clacking, this is normal for hips. And many times this happens when your hips are a little bit weak, or some muscles within the hips are weak. Good. So now you can have your hands onto your waist and make circles outwardly. So external rotation, using your core muscles to lift the leg. Lovely. Now we change and we bring it from back to front. So we are internally rotating. A bit like if you were dancing the Charleston, yeah? In and in, that's it. In, or dancing tango. Woo. That's it, good. And release. As we are going to be working with our stabilizers, the hips, the muscles on the hips, if at some point you need to take a wall or a chair to hold yourself, you can do that, okay? So we're going to work into really strengthening this area. So now that we had a little roll around, let's see what happens if we take a brick or a block. It can be a little bit thinner than a block, or a rolled up towel. If what you have to prop yourself, we're going to bring it behind the knee. If what you have is too soft, it might get squashed. So it will be better a roll-up towel, or can be anything that you can hold behind your knee. So either hold onto the wall or bring the brick behind the knee, maybe hands on the hips, maybe hands to the side. And we're going to bring the leg out, turn it, bring it behind, push it back a little bit, and bring it up. Let's do it again. So we'll bring it out. We need to turn it, internally rotating, to bring it down and bring it up. Now we're going to reverse the motion. So bring it back, side, and back to center. If it gets out of place, bring it back into place. Bring it down, side, and back to center. Good. And release. Shake. If you feel like if you're almost cramping on your thigh or your hamstring, this is an indication that you need to strengthen this area a lot more. So stretch the leg that you were working with. You can tap it with a block, which is quite nice. That's it, good. It sounds quite serious, doesn't it? Okay, let's do the other leg. So we bring the block just between the calf muscle and the hamstring. Arms parallel to the floor. I'll show you from this perspective. So from the same level as your hip, you bring it to the side, then you internally rotate it, bring it down, and bring it up. Side, rotate, bring it back a little bit when you bring it back, and back up. And now we're going to change the direction. So bring it down, open, bring it up, back to center, and again, down, side, up, and back to center. Good. Oh, and release. And stretch that leg. Give it a good brushing. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to, if you can observe how your hips reacted on that, how your thigh muscles and your hamstrings reacted on that, we are going to work to strengthen all of that area, not just the hips, but the thighs and the hamstrings, so that when you go into either warrior poses or side planks or any of those things, your hips will be working as they should. So bring yourselves into a seated position. I will show you what the first sequence is going to be like. Oh, and keep your block nearby. I want you to try this before we start a sequence and use it. Bring your arms forwards, so arms are outstretched, and hold the block on whatever object you're having with your fingers and your thumbs. Now inhale and pull it away, like if you were trying to split the block. And relax. You will feel it on your pectoral muscles. You will feel how this reacts on your back. Do it again. Inhale and pull it away. You might feel it on your wrists as well. After yesterday, I do feel it on my wrists. And release. Good. Now do the same, but this time your fingers are off the block and we're pulling towards each other. So you are trying to squeeze the block. So the hands come towards each other, squeeze the block, feel your abs contracting, feel how these muscles, the lateral muscles on the side of the ribs contract and relax. Lovely. Shake your hands. We are going to do that at one point, but with the hands behind. So try it now that we are not doing much. First, bring the arms out and pull the hands away from each other, trying to split the block away. And now push it towards each other. Your elbows can bend a little bit. Push, 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 push. And relax. Shake your hands. So you got the idea. Keep the blocks nearby, and we're going to start a bridge sequence. Remember that the focus is your hamstrings, thighs, and hips. So it doesn't matter how high up you go, but we want to get the activation on the thighs and hips. Watch for a moment first so that you can see the variants that we have. So we are going to start doing a bit of rotations of the hips, just as we did standing, and with the leg extended as well. One leg and then the other. And that is quite easy. Then we're going to start, we are going to bring the feet together and bring the hips up and release. Open the legs in Badaknasana and bring the hips up and release. So if I show you from this perspective, you'll see that my feet are together. I bring the hips up and release. Then I open the legs out and I lift the hips and release. That will make work your inner thigh and outer thigh quite strongly. So lie down onto the ground and we're going to start with the leg circles. That's it. So have your feet onto the ground. And let's start with the left leg just to have a variation to the usual. And let your knee come towards your chest. You can extend the leg, maybe bend and extend and feel where that leg is. And let it make a big circle. Notice if it got tired already from the other exercise with the brick. And change direction. Try to feel that same external rotation, internal rotation that you had before. Good. And release the foot onto the floor. Bring the other leg towards your chest. And extend and bend. Just feel where your leg is and then make big circles outwardly and big circles inwardly. Lovely. And relax for a moment, feel both sides. At all times, we're trying not to sway our hips far too much to one side or the other. We try to keep our core muscle 30 to 40% engaged. So bring your left leg up and flex and point your left foot. And then see if you can bring the leg around, making a big, big circle, inner thighs stretching, the hamstrings. Bring it back up, close towards your chest, open up, big circle, and back up towards the sky, change the direction. Leg comes towards the floor, externally rotate the foot so that the leg comes sideways, bring it all the way up, and one more. Wonderful, and release. Let's try with the right leg up, flex and point, and then bring the leg towards you, bringing it sideways, opening the inner thigh. You can have your left hand onto your left hip to give you more stability. Bring it back up, sideways. Oh, mine clicked. Bring it up. And now change direction, leg 1 inch from the floor, externally rotate, bring it up, internally rotate, and again, all the way around. Lovely. And release. Shake your legs, full body stretch, stretching your arms, stretching your legs, and relax. Wonderful. So now we're going to start on our breach sequence. Have your arms by the sides of your hips and your feet together, legs together. We normally do this sequence with the feet hip distance apart. For the purpose of this exercise, we're going to have the feet together. So first, find where your hips are, tag and tilt. Feel your pelvic floor contracting, and then bring your hips up, all the way up. Feel your hamstrings and buttocks engaging, and then tag, 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 tag. Your lower back comes onto the floor before your buttocks do. Let your legs rest outwardly in Superbadakanasana, so feet together, knees apart, and bound, lying down, bound ankle pose. Hands onto the floor, and bring your hips up, keeping your legs pointing upwards. Let's just feel those thighs and the buttocks. Tag the tailbone as you release down. Feet together, legs together, coming up. Can we lift the heels and have a bigger arch? And then you can keep the heels up as you descend. Let the legs drop outwardly. Push the feet towards each other and lift, contracting your buttocks and your thighs. That's it. Very nice, my love. Good. Bring your legs together. Again, lifting up. Lift the heels off the floor if you can. And you can release down. And open the legs. Lift the hips with the legs outwardly. Externally rotate it. And release down. And hug your knees. Make some circles. So now we're going to try and do the same, but the arms will be up towards the ceiling. So what this will force us to do is to stabilize even more. You might not have noticed, but your arms were working, pushing down to help you lift. Try once with the arms up and see if you can do it. If this is too much, you can have your elbows on the floor and your hands up, like if you were a robot. Try it first with the arms up and see how you stabilize yourself. So tag the toes, tag the tailbone, bring your hips up, and maybe lift your heels to give more of an arch, pushing the shoulders onto the floor and the balls of the feet onto the floor, and release down towards the ground. Release the feet. Now, drop your knees out, your feet out together, pushing together. Inhale, lifting up. Keep the legs going outwards and the hips going upwards. And exhale, release, release down, and release your arms. Good. Knees towards your chest, nose towards your knees. And go side to side to make a little twist to one side. And then to the other side. Lovely. Rock yourselves into sitting. We're going to bring the block this time in between our feet. So we're going to have the feet in Badaknasana and press the block between our feet. So watch for a moment. Hands will be by the sides, and we're going to press the block between the feet and keep the outer edges of the feet onto the ground. Many times for some of the side planks, we use the outer edges of the feet. So it's good to found them. So we're going to do that a few times, pushing the legs towards each other. Then we're going to stabilize onto the outer edge of one foot and bring the leg up and make tiny circles towards the ceiling. And on the other direction, bring it back down, keep the hips up and change. One direction and the other, small circles, not big ones. And then release down. All right, first we're going to lift and lower 3 times in Badaknasana with the feet holding the block. If you don't have a block, a couple of books can work, or a box. Remember that you want to be sending the energy sideways towards the legs so that the muscles that go from the hip out towards the outer edges of the knees get activated. When you're ready, press your feet against the block, hands are by the side, and lift your hips. Feel the outer edges of the feet onto the ground. And release down. Notice how you're tensing your inner thighs. That is correct. You should tense them. Tensing the buttocks as well, the hamstrings. And release down. One more time, bring it up. Pushing the feet towards each other. Feeling those areas of the stabilizers, the inner thighs, the glutes working. And release down. Good. Shake your legs if you need to. And we're going now to try and bring the feet, the legs up with one foot on the floor. So if I was doing it without a block, this is what it will look like. I will bring it up, keep the leg down, bring the other one up, and make circles towards the ceiling. Keep the hip up, and then change legs. It's quite strong in the lower back as well. So start with the Superbadakanasana. Bring your hips up. Feel that you are in the right position. Don't rush it. Feel the outer edges of the foot onto the floor. Bring one leg up and make small circles towards the ceiling. Small circles the other direction. Release. Keep your hips up. Feel those outer edges of the feet. Press the feet onto the block to give you more lift. And then bring the other leg up. And small rotations on the hip. Don't bend the knee if you can avoid it. Release the feet. Hips are up. And release down. Happy baby. And maybe stretch both legs out towards the ceiling, holding from the calf muscles, ankles, shins, wherever you can. And rock yourselves up into sitting. Lovely. So now we're going to let the block rest for a little bit. We're going to come onto the side. And again, using that rotation, the bottom leg can be bent to give us more stability. So we are going to start first bringing the leg up and down, feeling where it can go with the toes facing forwards. So don't let your hip rotate, don't let anything move. You can have your head resting on the floor if it's better for you. Keep the toes facing forwards and maybe bring your hand onto the hip as well, just to feel that you're not swinging back and forth. Good. Now, really slow, bring it up and turn the toes and see where the leg can go with the external rotation. Bring it back, turn halfway, and bring it all the way down. Good. Have your core muscles engaged so that you're not weak in the middle body. Let's do it again. Inhale, bring it up. More or less at 45 degrees. From there, if you wanted to bring the leg all the way up, you could not because of our anatomy. So we need to externally rotate. Be careful not to roll backwards. Externally rotate and bring the leg up. And maybe you can hold wherever you can. Knee, calf muscle, or toe. Just check it out for a moment. And release down. Turn the foot. Let it rest. We're going to go once more. If you find that you would like to have a block or a scarf holding your foot, you can, but I want you to feel the muscles contracting to help you lift. So inhale, bring the leg with the toes pointing forwards. Then turn it out, bring it up. And see if you can hold wherever. Release, turn the toes, bring it back down. Come into lying on the floor and cross the ankle of the leg you were working on top of the other knee, just to stretch that hip. And we're going to change sides. So you can just roll over to the other side. We're going to be doing the same, or you can swap around your head to the other side of the mat. The bottom legs can be bent or straight. And the top leg, first we bring it up and down, just feeling that movement of the leg without swaying our hips or our chest. Lovely. Now we're going to bring it up, turn the foot and bring it all the way up. So you need to externally rotate the leg in order to bring it up. Bring it down. When it's at 45 degrees, You turn your foot and you bring it all the way down. Lovely. Inhale, bring it up. Turn, bring it all the way up. Maybe hold wherever you can. Your foot, your thigh. And bring it down. Turn the foot, bring it all the way down. One more. Inhale, reaching away from you and up. Externally rotate, bring it up. Hold if you can. And bring it down. Turn, bring it down. And release, come onto your backs. Cross the ankle of the leg you were working with over the knee of the other one. Bringing both legs towards your chest, stretching that hip. And release, shake both legs. Good. Now, coming to sitting. And we're going to work with the inner part of the leg, to strengthen the inner part of the leg. So we're going to bring 2 blocks, one on top of the other. If you don't have 2 blocks, you can use one, you can use a little step, or use the floor. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the inner thigh to lift and get that strength. By having it elevated, we're going to have more room to lift. If you find that you find it too heavy, then maybe you can use 1 block. And if your blocks or your support is sharp, like if you have a wooden block or a cork, sometimes it's also sharp. You can put it like that. Also, another thing to bear in mind is if the blocks slide one on top of the other, have the mat in between so that they don't slide off. These ones are foam, so they are quite all right. They don't detach. So we're going to bring 1 foot on top and lie onto the elbow on the other side. Palm facing down helps to have a bit more grounding. The bottom leg is bent and the foot is going back for now. So let's start just bringing ourselves up into this low Badaknasana and releasing down. Feel how the foot is pressing onto the blocks already. Bring it up and bring it down. If your elbow feels a bit sore from lying in there, fold the mat or put a blanket underneath. I will fold my mat. Good. So bring it up. Feel the arm onto the floor and the foot onto the block. Can you lift the bottom leg? And release. Release down. It's tough, I know. Now we're going to try to lift it and extend the leg. So your hips need to be aligned with your foot. Bring the hips up. If this is already a lot for you, stay there. If you can, extend the leg in front. Bend, release. And release. And mermaid. Woo! We're going to do the other side. So this is the wonderful thing about yoga. Sometimes you think, oh yeah, I'm super strong. And then you do laser work in one part of the body. And it's like, oh my God, I can't lift myself. That's why we need to keep working, be creative, and find the new places. Right, so the block is, the 2 blocks are on the floor. Fold the mat if you want to cushion your elbow a little bit. And feel the inner side of the foot resting on the ground, resting on the block, sorry. The bottom leg is bent. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, release. That's it. Feel the foot working already. Bring it up. You will benefit from pressing the foot down already so that the body gets the message, and bring it down. Good. I can see quite a lot of you today doing it very, very well. Bring it up. It's only the position of the camera, so just right for it. And can you lift the knee? Release. And release. Whew. One more. This time, if we can, we'll bring the leg forwards. Inhale, bring it up. Lift the leg and bring the leg forwards. Release and release. And mermaid. Wow. Good. And relax. Wonderful. Leave the blocks to the side, come into all fours. Cat-cow. Stretching. Stretching your back and your hips. You can sway side to side. One more. And bring yourselves into a downward facing dog. So, and walk your dog, releasing those muscles that we just found. And bring yourselves to the front of the mat, walking step by step, coming into Uttanasana. And you can have your feet a little bit wider than hip distance, toes falling away from each other. Maybe bring your hands onto the ground and just bend your elbows to have a bit more of a stretch on the legs and the arms. And come all the way up into standing. Good. Shake your legs, shake your arms. Wonderful. So we're going to put this into a sequence. Keep the blocks nearby. We won't use them straight away, but we will use it again for the arms. So come to the front of the mat. And all of these strengthening exercises are good for when we do fallen triangles, side Vashisthasana, etc. If you find that today you can't quite do everything, it might be because you're tired from the training or from the 108 sun salutations, whichever. But just go with it, feel your way around it, learn how your body can move, and take the alternatives if you need. Inhale, bring your arms up, bring back bend. Exhale, belly's in, pelvic floor is in and out, and fall forwards. Inhale, hands onto your shins, flatten your back. Exhale, bring your hands by the sides of your feet. Step or jump back into plank. Come over your wrists. Chaturanga, up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Inhale, bring your right leg up towards the sky, stretch it. Externally rotate your foot and bring it to tap the floor with your toes, bring it up and release it down. We're going to do the same with the other leg. I'll show you from these perspectives. So bring the leg up, externally rotate, tap to the side, bring it back up and release down. Twice more on each side. Right leg up, externally rotate, bring it down. With control, bring it up and down. And the other side, left leg up, Externally rotate. If you need to move away because you have walls or something, do that. Bring it up and down. That's one. Leg up, externally rotate. Tap, bring it up and release. The other one. Tap, bring it up and release down. Good. Now bring your right leg up. Look towards the hands and bring the right foot between your hands. Open the chest, lower the hip, push your back heel away. Stretch that thigh and that hip flexor. We are using the hip flexor quite a lot. And extend the front leg and release. So now we're stretching the hamstrings as well. One more. Good. And we're going to come into our warrior two. So the feet are right now train tracking. We're going to bring the heel onto the floor and come into a warrior two. And extend and bend the front knee. Feeling the front of the thigh engage. Can we bend the front knee and lift the heel? And stay there, looking towards your middle finger. Feel how the calf muscle is engaged, the hamstring is engaged. Your lower abdomen should be also working. One more breath in there. Release. Extend the front knee. Now bring the front leg in a little bit. So this will give you a smaller warrior two. And that's what we want. If your arms are tired, you can have them onto your hips. Otherwise, keep them out and let your knee overtake your foot. So this is something that many times beginners do. They do a too short warrior two and the knee overtakes. Just feel what it's like. You can feel that your Achilles tendon gets more extended, your inner thigh is working. This time we're taking it so that we strengthen that inner muscle. Lovely. One more. Stay there. Bring the right hand towards the floor and bring the left leg up, coming into a half moon. So for a half moon, you're using those stabilizers and external rotation. If the foot is standing down, your hip will be facing down. So have the foot facing forwards. Then the standing leg, release the foot onto the floor, turn into a low lunge. Now, left hand onto the floor, bring the outer edge of the left foot onto the ground, and bring the right leg into Vashisthasana with the leg up. Lovely. Come into plank. Come onto your knees if you need to watch. We're going to be in plank for a moment. Then we're going to turn again towards the left. Left hand will lead. But this time the inner foot on the right leg will be on the floor and the left leg will come out. And bring it back into plank and have a little rest. So come into plank. Let's see. We're in plank. Bring both feet onto the floor. So the right inner foot is on the floor and bring the left leg forwards. Yes. Bring it back to center. Child's pose. Breathe deeply. If you need to stretch your wrists, you can tuck your fingers between your neck and your shoulders. Inhale, lift your head. Come into your downward facing dog. Walk the dog. Reset your body. releasing. Inhale, left leg up. Look towards your hands and bring the left foot between your hands. Low lunge. Time to stretch that hip flexor, rocking back and forth onto your right toes. And then we include the hamstring, so extend the front leg, go forwards and back. Very good. To condition the body, you need to do strength and stretch. So the legs are train tracking. We're going to bring the right heel onto the floor. The front heel is aligned with the back arch of the foot. Bring your arms parallel. Good. And extend and bend the front knee on your warrior two. Looking towards your middle finger. And now bend the front knee and lift the heel. Check that the knee is going towards the outer edge of the foot. Feel that pressure. It's getting hot in here, isn't it? And release. Extend the leg. Bring the foot in so that you're in a short stance, shortest stance that you would have for a normal warrior. If you want, you can have your hands onto your hips, or you can have your arms parallel to the floor. And we're going to bend the front knee and bring it back up. Feel the difference. Maybe on this side, you go deeper. That's it. Good. This is good to strengthen your knee as well. Lovely. Now, bend the front knee, reach towards the floor and come into half moon. Your foot is externally rotated, pointing forward so that your hip is pointing towards the ceiling. Not down, up. And bend the standing leg, come into a low lunge. Hands flat on the floor and bring the legs back into plank. Breathe. Check that your chest is over your wrists, so don't be in semi-down dog. We need to be in plank. The right hand will do all the work now. Come onto the outer edge of the right foot and bring the left leg up, left arm up. Badaknasana, one version. Release, come back into plank. Now both feet will come onto the floor, but this time your left inner foot will be on the ground, and bring the right leg either bent or bring it forwards. And bring it back to center. Child's pose. Whew. Catch your breath, bring your hands behind your neck. Lift your head and walk both hands to one side. Stretch the ribs and the hips. And to the other side. And back to center. Look towards your hands, tuck your toes under. Come up into your downward facing dog. And we're going to step or jump towards the hands, flat back. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, you can roll up. Exhale, hands towards your heart. Good. Shake your arms, shake your legs. Just a little bit more. And we're going to use the one block now. So keep it close for our warrior standing poses. Bring your hands towards your heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step and jump back into plank. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up and bring your right foot between your hands. That's it. Back leg is nice and strong. Keep the back heel off the floor, toes on the floor. Take hold of your block and bring it just in front of you. So I have my ribs resting onto my thigh and I'm stabilizing. Now pull the block away, trying to split it apart from this position. And now push it in. Your neck is long. No need to look up. Lovely. Push the front foot, come all the way up. Keep the front knee bent and try to split your block, pulling the hands away from each other. Arms are either side of your head. And then push it in towards each other. Elbows are straight. Great. And release. Bring your hands behind. Bend your front knee. Be careful not to be too wide. Yeah, that's it, Mala. Not too wide on the legs. And have your hands coming out, trying to split the block away from each other. And now push the balls of the hands in towards each other, towards the block. And release. Shake. We're going to come into a warrior two and then to the sequence. Going into half moon, side plank with one leg up and side plank with the other leg up. On the same side, coming into plank in between. Inhale, warrior two. I just feel how familiar poses can be a rest because you know what you're doing here. You have done it so many times. It's like coming home, you know where you are. So we're not going to shorten the stance this time. We're going to reach. This will make it a little bit heavier for the leg to come up. Come into your half moon. If you want to use a block, you can use a block. From half moon, release, turning your hip, turning your chest, come into a low lunge. Your right leg will come back into plank. And now we're starting on side plank on the left. So left hand can come more central, turn both feet. We are staying on the outer edge of the left foot. Bring your leg and your arm up. Your star pose on the side. Lovely. Come back into plank. Breathe. We can do this. Same side. Left hand on the floor. Both feet are on the ground. This time your right leg stays in. Bring your left leg in front. Yes! Lovely. And bring it back. Chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. Down dog. If you need to rest, please rest. We're going to do the other side. Inhale, left leg up, left foot between your hands. Your feet are train tracking. We're using the block. Keep your ribs resting onto the front leg and bring your arms in front of you. Pull the block away and then push it in. Come up, arms up, and pull the block away as you were going to split it, and then push it in, elbows are straight. Lovely. And release, bring your hands behind. Check that your chest is facing forwards, your hips are forwards, your legs are not too wide out. And pushing your hands away, try to split the block and then bring your hands towards each other, pushing the balls of the hands. Lovely. And release. Come into your warrior two. Check that your arms are parallel to the floor at the same level. Your front knee is over your ankle. Take a breath, coming into a familiar pose is at rest. If you're going to use your block for half moon, you can do that. Bring the hand onto the block, coming up. Half moon, the leg is parallel to the floor, toes pointing forwards, arm is up. Yeah. So your left hand is on the block, right hand up. Yeah, not reverse. The other way, Ruth. Your chest needs to be open, like this. Good. Bend your knee, come back into low lunge. You don't need the block anymore. And we're going to come into plank. Chest over your wrists. Right hand comes in the middle. Come into your Vashisthasana, the outer edge. The right foot is on the floor. Left leg up. Keep your hips up. And come back into plank. Resetting. We're going to go on the same side, but this time your right leg comes across and in front. Right hand in the middle. Sides of the feet on the floor. The inner side of your left foot is on the floor. Bring your left leg forwards. Bring it back into plank. Chaturanga. Half dog or cobra. Down dog. And we're going to look towards the hands, lift the heels. Step or jump, flat back. Exhale. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, release. And I can't believe this class has gone so fast. We're going to come into our relaxation now. If you have a wall of or a sofa or something to put your legs over, please do that. Just come with elegance, bringing your arms up and release down. If you have your blocks, you can also have the blocks underneath your thighs and lie into your Shavasana. Otherwise, legs up on the chair can release your hips and your lower back quite a bit. And if you need to have some stretches on the hips, you can cross the legs and bring both legs to one side, stretch to the other side, and change sides. Just feeling around your body. You can have a bolster as well underneath your legs if you have that. I like putting the blocks under the thighs. And just rest. Let your upper body be totally released onto the ground. Your chin is towards your chest. Your arms are relaxed by the sides of the body. And breathe deeply. Inhaling and exhaling. And if you can, I will invite you to stay resting for a little bit longer. Otherwise, our Shavasana will be just a couple of minutes, and that's not enough. So if you can rest, stay resting. If you need to get up and go, then have a little stretch and come into sitting. And from wherever you are, we're going to do the Oms and Shantis. Inhale to begin, inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Bring your palms together. Rub your palms. Make the movement a little faster. And place your palms over your face. Inhale deeply. Open your eyes to the darkness of your hands. Slide your hands to your chest and bow your heads. Namaste. Give yourselves a little clap. Well done. If you're staying resting, stay.